good cider after just a year. But she seems to be very independent.
I figured that out was I saw my name somewhere. I saw Koya, comma,
She's having
SJ.
too much togetherness and wanted to have some time away from him.
I was like, no, those are my first and middle names.
She told me she was calling. I've known her 25 years. He's only known her
Yes,
for
agrees with
3
me.
years.
Papa knows that. Sure.
And she told me she was calling me more often than she was calling him, so I'm not sure that's a good sign. But she really loved Pluto. Very well. So I started about going to Pluto, and I met somebody whose son lives in Spain. And I've always wanted to see the Gaudi stuff in Barcelona, and I've also wanted to see the Guggenheim in Rome.
No worries at all.
And the ultra-modern museum by Frank Gehry. So I was toying with the idea of, maybe doing a trip. But actually, her son happens to now lives in Spain full time. And I don't know whether he has Spanish citizenship, but he works full time in Spain and comes home a couple months a year. So he gave me a list of things, and one of the things he listed that he especially loves in Spain is the Canary Islands. So I looked at the pictures of them online, and they're just really, really beautiful. And I thought I remembered that you had Canaries, but no, it's the Azores. And also I wanted to see, is it Seville where the Alhambra is? Is that, yeah, I would rather see that during the winter. So, I just don't like tours of people, number one. And number two, I don't like hot weather. And number three, really don't like having to book in advance. I like being able to just travel and find some places to stay. So all of those things make it easier to do in the winter than in the summer. We do that already. Is that what yours is?
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. יאללה לה, יאללה לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. Yalla la, yalla la 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 la. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Shabbat shalom. Welcome especially to those who are here for the first time in a long while, and welcome to those who are participating from home through our live stream. We begin our service together on page 1. Let's read a proclamation together in English. Tonight we gather together to bring out the best, both in ourselves and in the larger world. No matter how challenging or discouraging various aspects of life may seem, we actively remember and now proclaim together that this world still has much loveliness, many beautiful and splendid things, blue waves whitened on a cliff, soaring fire that sways and sings, and children's sweet faces looking up, holding wonder like a cup, overflowing with awe for the infinite surprises yet to be discovered in this vast and magnificent world. And we continue, if you have the supplementary sheet, with the song Ya'aloz Sadai. So you may notice tonight we have a little bit of a tree theme because of the emphasis on trees in our Torah portion. And just hum along as you can. Ya'aloz Sadai v'chol asher bo Ya'aloz Sadai I asher bo Ya'aloz Sadai v'chol asher bo Ya'aloz Sadai ay 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 Az Yiranenu kol atzeyar Az Yiranenu kol atzeyar Az Yiranenu kol atzeyar Az Yiranenu kol atzeyar. And we'll leave it at that. We'll do this song when Rachel can play it better than I sing it. So we continue on page 4. I'd like to invite up Margaret and Rachel to light our Shabbat candles tonight.
To light candles in all the worlds, that is Shabbat. To light Shabbat candles is a soul leap into a splendid sea, which holds the mystery of the fire of sunset. Lighting the candles transforms my room into a river of light. My heart sets peacefully like the sun in an emerald waterfall. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Thank you. At this point in our service, we think of the week that has passed, and we hold on to all of the good things from this past week. So if you have some thing that inspired gratitude, some good news to share, no matter how big or how small, I invite you to share that joy with the community now. Jack? Started fourth grade? Awesome. Eileen?
We got to visit with our nephew and his family and got to see our 2 great nieces for the first time.
Awesome.
Nephews. They're little boys.
Yeah. Wonderful. Glad you got to spend time with your nephews and grandnephews. Laura?
I replaced 3 light switches in my house, and I got to see something I haven't seen in like 20 years.
It helps to have more light to see, right? Yeah.
Well, no, this was never been here.
Good. And John?
Laurie and I just got back from a lovely trip on which we randomly ran into my college roommate and got to spend part of the trip with him.
Oh, how cool. Awesome. Welcome back. Fran?
I have a new car.
A new car, Mazel Tov.
We have a new baby in our house.
Awesome. And Alyssa?
Found out that my school had the highest math scores in Richmond and in top 5 in reading scores.
Wow.
Very good. I'm pretty sure that's all thanks to you, but good work with the kids. So we thank God for all of these blessings, including the blessing of simply being alive for this moment in time, with the words of Shehechianu near the bottom of page 5. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen. I'd like to invite up Jack to lead us in reading 1.
One day, Yanni was journeying, he saw a man planting a carob tree. He asked, "How long did it take for this tree to bear fruit?" The man replied, 70 years. Hani asked him, "Are you sure that you will live another 70 years?" The man replied, "I found carob trees in the world. My ancestors planted those for me. So now do I plant for my children."
Wonderful. Thank you, Jack. And we continue with Lechado D. Page 8. Lechado D likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechado di likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechado di likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechado di likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shemo tiferet v'litila. Lechado di likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechado di likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki hi mekor habracha, Merosh mikadem nesucha, Sof maaseh b'machshava tchila. Lechado di likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechado di likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, Ki va'orech kumi ori, Uri shedaberi, Kevod Adonai alaich nigla. Lechado di likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechado di likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. And we rise together and face the entrance to symbolically welcome in the presence of Shabbat. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, Gam b'simcha u'b'tohola, Toch emunei am segula, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Peni Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Peni Shabbat nikabela. Page 9. Awe in the outdoors. The moments that I feel the most imbued with a sense of awe are always the moments when I am outdoors. I can't help but feel a certain sense of wonder. I become almost filled with it. We continue with our official call to worship, the Baruch Hu, in the middle of the page. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Please be seated. I'd like to invite up Sarah to lead us in our next reading.
I used to journey at the heat of a summer's day to the kingdom of magnificent tranquility, to the forest's dense thickets. There between God's trees, which had not heard the axe's echo, on a path known only to the wolf and the mighty hunter, I used to wander whole hours by myself, uniting with my heart and with my God, until I came stepping over, passing between golden snares, to the Holy of Holies in the forest, the pupil of its eye.
There is always music amongst the trees in the garden, but our hearts must be very quiet to hear it. Please rise for the Shema, the bottom of page 11. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Please be seated. Page 12. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, b'shivtecha b'veitecha, uvlechtecha v'derech, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני Elohechem. I'd like to invite Jack back up to lead us on page 13, with Radical Amazement.
Our goal should be to live life in radical amazement. Let's get up to the morning and look at the world in a way that takes nothing for granted. Everything is phenomenal. Everything is incredible. Never treat life casually. To be spiritual is to be amazed.
Awesome. Thank you, Jack. And we continue with Micha Mocha. Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha nedar b'kodesh, Norah tehilot osefele, Norah tehilot osefele. I'd like to invite up Stan to lead us in our next reading.
Rest is not idleness, and to lie sometimes on the grass under the trees on a summer's day, listening to the murmur of the water, or watching the clouds float across the sky, is by no means a waste of time.
Thank you. And we celebrate rest with Vishamru on page 14. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. I'd like to invite up Lori to read us in reading 5.
Me, my family, and Torah, a tree of life,
roots holding on to the past, branches reaching to the future, leaves dancing like children, growing and changing with the seasons, teaching peace, caring, sharing, tolerance, understanding from parent to child, from generation to generation.
Thank you. We rise for our central prayer, which mentions the generations before us, the Amidah on page 14. Adonai sefatai tiftachu fi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevii Geula Lifnei V'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Hakol, Atah Rav Lehoshia, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayei Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Baal Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memit, Umechaye, Umatmeach Yeshua, Mene'eman Atah Lachayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei HaKol. Please be seated. We continue with a quiet moment for personal prayer or reflection. Page 16. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. B'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב Tasim leolam, Tasim leolam, Tasim leolam. At this point in our service, we think of loved ones who are in need of healing. Tonight, we think especially of Marty Cohen, Alyssa Freeman, Beth Levine, Rabbi Jerry Levy, and Natalie Rayner. Are there other loved ones whose healing we wish to pray for tonight? With the power of community, we pray for their refuah shlema, their complete healing of body and or spirit, with the words of Misha Berach found at the bottom of page 18. Misha Berach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. So this week's Torah portion is called Shoftim, the Hebrew word meaning judges. It talks a lot about the legal system and specific laws, including laws that apply during times of war. One of the most interesting verses related to the laws of war explores connections between people and trees. Deuteronomy chapter 20, verse 19 says, "When besieging a city in war, do not cut down its trees. You may eat them, or eat of them, but do not cut them down. For are the trees of the field human beings and able to withdraw before you?" So the literal meaning of this verse is that trees cannot run away the way that humans could in a time of war. The rabbis took this Hebrew phrase to mean that trees and human beings have a lot in common. So tonight I'd like to have a discussion, and Jack, if you'd like to help us by bringing the microphone around so everyone at home can follow our conversation. The first question is, what are some similarities or connections that you see between humans and trees? So similarities and connections between humans and trees. If you want to take it to Laura.
Trees have children, just like we do. And if you don't believe it, you've never seen a sweet gum tree.
So they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? Yeah.
Actually, trees are very remarkable. They kind of communicate with each other through their roots in the forest, and they have been proven that trees are not just dumb plants. They are actually alive, and I don't know, they're just beautiful things.
So both alive and able to communicate.
Trees and humans have a symbiotic relationship in that trees produce oxygen for humans to breathe, and humans breathe out carbon dioxide for trees to grow with.
Excellent. Any other similarities or connections you see?
Humans wither in darkness, and so do trees.
So we need light and water, right? We have oxygen and carbon dioxide are both important for us.
We both need sunlight
If humans don't get enough sunlight, they suffer from vitamin D deficiency. And trees need sunlight, and we both need water, and we both need minerals from the earth, and we both come out of the earth, and we both go back to the earth.
So strong connection to the earth. And also, if you've looked at kind of tree roots, they kind of resemble the human veins, right? There's things connecting trees that are like the tiny connections within a human. All right, the second question is, do you have any fond memories involving trees? So for example, did you ever have a tire swing in your yard, or carve your initials in a tree like as in so many movies, or is there a special tree in your life?
Okay, this is not an actual tree, but one of my favorite books when I was a kid was the David Russell Young guitar book. And he built very elaborate guitars, and always wanted one with a tree of life on it.
So the tree of life design.
Sure, it's great to put your arms around trees, and it's great to climb trees, because it changes your perspective.
So it's fun to be a tree hugger or a tree climber, yeah?
We went off trail hiking with my boyfriend a couple years back, and we got lost, like very lost, for several hours during the summer, and we thought we were gonna die out there in Wyoming, but we finally found our way back. And the reason we knew we were on our way back is because we found a tree with a carving on it, and we knew that people had been here and we were kind of going in the right path. It was a very significant tree for us.
Yeah, definitely. So a tree saved your life, and without thinking about it, trees are giving us life, right? The oxygen all the time.
When I was little, there was a tornado that hit Virginia, and we had a Japanese maple tree in the front yard. And I just remember looking outside, and the sky was green, and my poor babysitter was like, "Get away from the windows," because I was 5. And I was like, wow, look at that. And after that tornado had passed and everybody was okay, I found out that our Japanese maple tree had been struck by lightning or something, and it was split right down the middle. And my dad took the biggest bungee cord kind of thing that he could find, and he wrapped it all the way around the tree and was like, if you keep the pieces together, it might keep growing. And it did for years. Wow. It just hung on. That little band that was around the tree was red when he put it on, and it faded all the way to white. And I just felt like mad respect for this tree for continuing to like thrive even after splitting in half.
So trees can teach us about resilience and growth. Yeah, Eileen?
I have a couple of memories about trees. I remember as a child, a little younger than Jack, Hurricane Hazel going across North Carolina, across our farm. And the farm was full of pine trees, and the wind from the hurricane blowing over all those pine trees and nearly hitting the house. Because pine trees are really straight and tall and almost like big reeds. And I just remember all those trees falling. And I also remember going to the Outer Banks of North Carolina where my great-grandmother lived, and they had huge, huge live oak trees that had these big limbs that swooped down to the ground, and sitting on the limbs of those trees and swinging back and forth as a child. So, some of the memories I have of trees are very good. Some of them are scary, but...
Definitely, there's both sides to nature, the beautiful and the scary.
My most fond memory is one of my sisters and I used to go sit in the branches of a mulberry tree and eat and eat and eat. And we would come in the house purple, like our shirts, our faces, and my mother going hysterical about that.
Love it. So there's an ancient tradition where one tree would be especially significant on a wedding day. Whenever a child was born, they would plant a particular type of tree based on the child's gender. So they would plant a cedar for baby girls and a cypress for baby boys, and they would let it grow for a couple decades, and then use the branches to hold up a chuppah at their wedding ceremony. So that would be part of their birthday and a part of one of their biggest, happiest days as well. So getting back to the Torah verse about not cutting down fruit-bearing trees, even in a time of war, which in Hebrew is lo tashchit et eitzah, the rabbis took this one phrase from the verse and made it the basis of a whole concept called bal tashchit, which means like not wasting or wantonly destroying anything of value. So not just trees that bear fruit during times of war, but you can no longer break utensils, tear garments, demolish buildings, stop up a well, or destroy food. So the last question is, what messages did you receive as a child about not wasting or destroying things, or child or adult? And what are some of the things that you were frequently told not to waste, and what sorts of things do you try not to waste today?
I grew up in South America, but in Spanish, my mom would say something along the lines of, with good hunger, there's no bad bread, which essentially means you should not be wasting any bit of food, because if you're hungry enough, that bit of food, if it's not rotting or something, is nourishment to you, and it's good for you. So we were really, really adamant about not wasting food growing up. And I mean, I still say that to myself when I have leftovers or something and I want to eat it. With good hunger, there's no bad bread.
I think a lot of people grow up with that message. Any other things you were told not to waste? Yeah.
My grandmother would come and follow us around the house and turn light switches off after us. Don't waste electricity. And I remember it to this day. Every time we went in a room, she was turning off lights behind us.
My family's Italian, and when we outgrew our clothes, they were always put in a box and sent back to Italy, to home. But if clothes got, especially a shirt, if a shirt got so bad it was holy, you couldn't put that in the box and send it to anybody. But what we'd do before we made it into a rag was we'd take all the buttons off, and we'd sew all the buttons from that one shirt all together in one big column, and that would be used for the next garment that was created.
Very resourceful.
No, I have thousands of buttons at home that I take off shirts before I throw them away. but we always, it was always around food. Eat everything on your plate and think about the 4 starving people in Africa. So you don't throw away of anything. And on the farm, we always had abundance of food because we had a huge garden. So, but you never threw away anything that was edible, ever.
My grandmother always insisted that we very carefully remove wrapping paper because she would want to save it.
Thank you, Jack. That reminded me that there's a giant gift bag full of gift bags in my house because of the way I was raised, which is that we're going to keep using those gift bags over and over again. And you could just get like different people's, little to from stickers stamped on top of each other for like years until it falls apart.
This is not about not wasting, but I've always loved this Torah portion with the rules of war, because one of the other rules in Shoftim is about a fourth side open, that when you're besieging a city, you always had to create a way for people to leave safely if they wanted to. And I thought about that a lot during this Ukrainian war, that in many cases people were not allowed to leave. And I also love the rule of war about not being allowed to cut down fruit trees, because that rule is based on the fact that there would always be a time after war, and that you always had to plan for the time after war, and after war you would always need the fruit trees.
Mm-hmm. So the rules of war kind of start with, first you offer peace, right? Peace is the ultimate goal, and if peace is not possible in that moment, you still keep that hope for peace in the future, right? You don't destroy everything. You keep the fruit trees. and whatever peaceful agreements that you can. So thank you, Jack, for helping us tonight. And thank you, everyone, for sharing your thoughts and memories about trees tonight. So I'd like to invite up Sarah to offer some brief announcements on behalf of the board.
Shabbat Shalom. If we haven't met, I'm Sarah Foote. I'm one of your board members for ORME, and I'm just going to share a couple of announcements with you. Let's see. Starting with tomorrow, we are going to have Torah study. Oh, we're not having Torah study. Never mind. That's a lie. We are going to be having next Friday, we're going to be having a guest speaker come for Shabbat. Her name is Kaylee Smith. She's from Safe Harbor, and she's going to be the first speaker in our series of mental health awareness and understanding. She's going to be speaking about, I believe, mental health services and resources that were available and some of the challenges that came about during the pandemic, especially for sexual assault and domestic violence survivors. So that's going to be a really interesting topic, and you're not going to want to miss that. That's next Friday for Shabbat. Next Saturday, the 10th, we are going to have Torah study at 11 a.m., and then after Torah study from 1 to 3 at ORME, we're going to be having a very important countering active threats training, which is a security training just to make sure that everybody is, physically aware of the space in which they're in. Members who are adults are welcome to come and be a part of that training. It is going to be here at ORME. We are going to try to live stream it, but I don't think that's necessarily going to be the way you're going to get the most out of this experience. So really try to be here from 1 to 3 for that training on September 10th, which is next Saturday. Then, oh my gosh, next week is packed. Then on Sunday the 11th, we're going to have our opening day for religious school. This is for K through 8, and it goes from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then Torah Tots also goes from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Next Monday, September 12th, the ORME Book Club is going to meet. They're looking at The Last Kings of Shanghai, the rival Jewish dynasties that helped create modern China by Jonathan Kaufman, which sounds very interesting. So that's happening next Monday. The ORME Crafters are going to be gathering on Tuesday the 13th. All crafty people welcome. That will be occurring on Zoom. Then we're going to have Shabbat again and Torah study again. Saturday the 17th, we're having a Selichot service, which is a late night service. Rabbi Yehuda, did you want to say anything else about that? It'll be on Zoom. Okay, perfect. 2 more things for you guys. This is kind of a crazy time, right? The high holidays are coming up. Oh, there's a couple more things actually. High holidays are coming up. We are still looking for English readers for the high holiday services. I myself am going to be doing an English reading. I would welcome any and all of you to come join me in doing English readings for these services. Your participation would be very appreciated. Friday, September 23rd, we are also going to have a guest speaker come and speak for Shabbat. His name is Mark Miller. He is a past member of ORME, and now he's actually running for the Board of Supervisors in Midlothian. He's going to be giving a talk on how his Jewish values and cultural understanding have brought him into this world of running for supervisors. So that should be really interesting and not to be missed. And last thing before we launch into just talking about high holidays from now on, is October 16th is Mitzvah Day. If you have an idea for a project or any plans that you might have in place for doing Mitzvah Day stuff, you should get in contact with Marilyn Breslow or Rabbi Yehuda. And I think that is it for now. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Sarah. You made it through a very long list of announcements tonight. Nailed it. All right, we continue our service on page 20. Please rise for the Elena Prayer. Aleinu leshabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'tzeit gedula li'otzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, velo samanu kamishpachot adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegoralenu kechol hamonam, ואנחנו גרים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. At this point in our service, we think of loved ones who have passed away recently or at this time in years past. Tonight we remember with love Marlene Kane, mother of David Kane, and Elise Evans, sister of Judy Katzen, as well as the Yardzites of Zena Auslander, mother of Amy Auslander, Phyllis Bloomberg, aunt of Judy Nelson, Marion Cole, father of Deanna Maneker, Anne Feinmel, grandmother of Nancy Nelson, Betty Flato, longtime member of Orami, Reuben Friedlander, uncle of Sylvia Fine, Jack Silver, father of Judy Katzen, Isidore Simonoff, father of Jerry Simonoff, and Victor Sporn, father of Amy Miller. Are there other loved ones you wish to remember tonight? Zichronam Libracha, may their memories always be a blessing. We remain standing as a community of support for the Mourner's Kaddish on page 21. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, bi'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam olomei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shemei dekudesha b'richu le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and may we be a source of comfort for all who are bereaved, and let us say, please be seated. We conclude our service tonight on page 23, near the middle, with Lo Yisa Goy. Lo Shabbat Shalom. And thank you to Patricia for playing tonight and all of our readers for reading your pieces in our service. If you would kindly return your service handouts to the table near the entrance, and if you'd like to join us out back for Kiddush and Motzi, that would be wonderful. Shabbat Shalom.